Hello everybody, CritCrab here with another story, this one about a DM that made himself the god of his campaign setting. There's nothing else I can say to do the cringe you're about to hear any justice, so without further ado, clutch your Bible, pray to your god, and as always, roll post. TLDR, a GM creates a setting where he is a worshipped god of the dominant religion, makes life hell for players, and roleplays sex with himself or forces a player to do it. So, characters of this story. Amelie, a disguised vampire countess and a neutral evil warlock, yours truly. Willow, a female ranger rogue something played by a straight cis guy, that's relevant. Theo, an ironic name for reasons you will see later. A rogue, a hero, a martyr, and a bit of an edgelord. A good friend of mine and a steadfast atheist both in-game and out of it. Tiberius, a fighter from a far-off land, a good role player, and just a good person in general. My friend too. Alex, the DM with a god complex and something else weird about him. The antagonist. Alex's NPCs, also starring people who were quick to leave, can't blame them though, aka unmentionables. The story took place a pretty long time ago, like in 2014 through 16, we were playing in the world completely made up by DM. Low fantasy style. We didn't even get elves or dwarves as a playable race, so basically everyone was human. But this world had existing gods. A single god, actually. This god had a lot of shrines and temples on the map, and almost every single NPC we met worshipped him. Okay, we thought, other worlds, including IRL, have dominant religions. But things started to get weirder when we found out the name of the god. It was literally Alex's nickname. Okay, most of us thought, not everyone can make up a crap ton of names for every single town, nation, deity, and NPC, so he must have used the first thing to fall into his hands. But things started to get a lot weirder when he started to say that shrines were built in his honor and priests were worshipping him. Excuse me, did you just say my priests? Well, yes, they're technically my priests. They worship me. Didn't I tell you the god's name? Okay, I guess. At some point, the party headed to the Tiberius home. After some time spent there, a lone man approached the warrior who recognized him or something. The lone man told him to follow and took Tiberius's word that he isn't going to murder him if he tells him the truth. The lone man happened to be some kind of a werewolf, but instead of being a wolf, he was some kind of beastly abomination, also a lot stronger than a regular werewolf. The party held him off for some time, and then the werebeast transformed back into the human form. He spoke something about being rejected by everybody and being the only one of its kind. Tiberius decided to break his word and kill him, but he roleplayed it properly. A man who was ever honorable, but had to lose his honor so his brothers and sisters in arms, his family, and the ones he cared about were relatively safe. Seriously, he even made up some heroic-like speech, added some depth to the character. Everyone loved it, except, well, Alex. Why did you kill him? You told him that you wouldn't. You don't do that. I do. He was too dangerous to be kept alive. But your character wouldn't do that. Tiberius shows him his character sheet. See, I made this, not you. You don't know what he would do. The fighter goes on for some time, the session ends and Tiberius leaves, never to be seen again in those games. We continued the story. Tensions started to rise and shit started to get real. Sometime after Tiberius left, Theo gained my everlasting respect. When DM said something along with, "You kneel and pray," Theo interrupted him and said, "Wait, I don't kneel." DM looked at him with an expression of both question and mild anger. "I bow to no throne and to no divinity, and I won't bow to you." Alex was angry. Oh boy was he angry. After a short burst of DM's unholy fury, we continued playing. And guess what? Almost everything now went to ruin Theo's day. "I want to sneak in this quest-related tower where the MacGuffin is right now." "You can't sneak in, there are guards everywhere watching every square foot." Okay, then I bribed the guards. Skill check? No, they won't accept your bribe because if they do, their superiors will kill them. They attack you. Sometime later. "DM, why are all enemies attacking me?" "Because you're a wanted thief, they want your head." "And monsters?" "Because they sense that you're evil and the god dislikes you." Why didn't he refer to the god as himself? Theo left sometime after this and left before I did. The rogue ended up on gallows, but he lived and died like a true rogue, kneeling to no throne and no divinity. But poor DMing wasn't the worst thing about Alex. Most of our story from the beginning to the end we spent in the city, which we were in about 80% of the time, the remaining 20% being my castle and Tiberius's homeland. There was a lot of, well, intercourse. Firstly, when we were at the tavern, we saw a young, handsome merchant and a pretty barely dressed girl who we later found out to be a werewolf. And then we heard moans, pounding, and walls shake and dishes rattle. Also, he described the intercourse in incredible detail as if we could see it, which we couldn't. So, after some time, my character, being a neutral evil bitch she is, broke in their room and killed the couple with a small bomb. Party was amused. Was DM furious? Hell yeah, he was. He almost kicked me from the table this time, but in the end he just said, if you pull off something like that again, I will kick you for good. Then, after some time, we found ourselves in a familiar situation. The party, along with a couple of unmentionables and NPCs, walked along a lonely barn. And guess what? Moans, pounding, shaking walls, rattling tools. Guess there weren't dishes in the barn this time. This time somebody, I believe it was Theo, threw a lantern at the barn, setting it aflame. Similar situations happened quite a couple of times, including when we heard the guard captain having fun with the queen. In detail too, with her sucking his iron wand with a beak. Yeah, she was some kind of humanoid bird or something. Weird stuff. Both of these events happened way before Tiberius and Theo left. I've had enough when I had to miss a session for various reasons, and when I came to my last session I found out that Willow, who found a job as a barmaid sometime before, was raped by an NPC. Like I said, the guy who roleplayed her was a straight cis guy and was visibly unhappy. The session went awkwardly, and the next session I just didn't show up. Never make self-insertions, especially when you are the DM. End post. I'm going to start this one off by saying the obvious. Self-insertions are weird. I get it if you're playing a video game or something, but when people self-insert, they tend to play an idealized version of themselves, which, depending on the player, can be pretty annoying if they make a Mary Sue out of themselves. Also, I'm a little curious why OP stuck around for so long. I'm not judging, because sometimes it's more complicated and requires more tact than just taking your ball and leaving, especially if the person you're playing with is a family member or a close friend. Also, I would like to think that if I was in a game with an arrogant prick with a god complex as the DM, I would stick around just for the entertainment value. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories just like this one. Till next time.